There are many men, and when I say many, I literally mean many men that are lost in distractions, vices, instant gratification. They're just lost in the sauce, just floating through life, and all they have to go on is social media, who the latest model is or who the latest thought is, talking with their equally lost friends and discussing equally meaningless and equally monotonous topics that really serve no purpose for higher elevation. Everything is just extremely low vibrational. And yes, while everyone likes to get away from reality and discuss things such as women, sex, and things of that nature, this should be a small part, but instead, it's almost a majority of their actions, conversations, and thoughts. This is a Terry Talks Midnight Podcast. Sit down, relax, and enjoy. All these men just walking around in a mist, in a fog, clouded. And while you could say it isn't their fault, it, to some extent, is. But let's just be honest. When you've grown up in a society that pushes a certain narrative and tells you that you are somewhat an outcast or you're somewhat of a weirdo if you don't follow this narrative, then you pretty much have no choice but to follow this narrative. And what is this narrative? Well, we all hear this narrative of chase females. You have to be a player. Oh, you're a playboy. Oh, you don't have any women. You don't have any girlfriends. And a lot of men, including myself, we don't really realize how pointless and how aimless this is until we get a taste of women and vices. See, after you've had enough of those mindless, aimless, and just non-beneficial activities, when you've had enough of them, you start really thinking to yourself. You start really reflecting on the purpose, and you start asking yourself, what did this benefit me? What did getting high, what did abusing alcohol, what did chasing useless thoughts really get me in the long run? What goal did it help me achieve? And the answer is, as you may have guessed, is none. It didn't help you achieve any goal. It didn't help you elevate. It did not help you get to the next level. All it did was keep you suppressed and, of course, keep your judgment clouded. It kept you in a lower vibration, which is exactly where the narrative wants you, the elite. And yes, when I say elite, some people might automatically roll their eyes and claim that I am on this conspiracy trip. But if you really look at what is being pushed in the mainstream, it's refutable. What I am saying is truth. And of course, it's not the objective truth. It isn't just something that I can claim as the absolute truth, but it has major validity to it. Because everything that is pushed is abusing alcohol, is abusing drugs, putting yourself in a hole of distractions and vices, and keeping yourself at the lowest possible vibration. Everything that is everything that is said to young men is pretty much nothing beneficial. It is telling them to do everything for females to chase validation, but it is telling them nothing about knowing who they are, about finding themselves. It tells them to do everything. It tells them to attend every party. It tells them to attend every concert. It tells them to attend every event. It tells them you only live once. But it has nothing that tells them to look within their soul and find who they really are and determine what they want in life. It never tells them to chase their passion. It tells them to chase vices. It tells them to chase these females that use and abuse them. Because in the long run, these men are just thirsty simps. And this is what the mainstream turns them into. And yes, simps is a very overused and by now a somewhat played out term, but it is just the truth. See, these men grow up and they spend so much of their time trying to chase validation that they spend no time on themselves. So this whole time they've been chasing after mindless, pointless activities, and in the process, they are getting out of shape. They are breaking down physically and mentally. They are degrading. Their value is being devalued. And they don't see it. It's right in front of their eyes and they don't see it. And when they do see it, it is too late. When they look in the mirror and they have erectile dysfunction, and when they are balding, not because of genetics, but because of bad decisions, when they are overweight, when they have no kind of confidence, when they are being mistreated by their spouse or girlfriend, and they just come to a realization like, wow, if only I put all of that effort instead of out into myself, instead of being out here being thirsty, indulging, being decadent, indulging in so much hedonism. If only I put all of that energy towards myself, I would have been light years ahead of where I am now. But no, he just had to get females. He just had to be a playboy. And you don't, unfortunately, and this is in my case as well, you don't realize how as I alluded to earlier, as I said earlier, you don't realize how pointless and non-beneficial this was until you've got a certain taste of it. Because a lot of men listening to this will argue, oh, but it's just fun and I just need to get it out of my system. And I understand that you have testosterone, and I understand that you see young ladies that are very attractive and you see parties and events and concerts and you're young and you want to attend these things. By all means, brother, go ahead and do it. But what I'm trying to say is, do not let that be what you are involved in for your whole young life, because you will squander your youth. And this is why a lot of people feel like they hit the wall at 30, because they did hit the wall. Instead of preserving themselves, instead of choosing better choices, instead of hitting the gym, instead of looking out for their mental and physical being, they were out here chasing instant gratification, because your focus is going to go somewhere. That's just the laws of nature. Your focus is going to go somewhere. And wherever that focus is, you will see a result. So a lot of people will say things like, you have no place to judge and you're not perfect either. And you can't judge people for participating in these vices and getting drunk every single night and going out every single night and being promiscuous. You can't judge these people. I won't judge. I have no right to. But you know who will judge? If you don't believe in God, nature will judge. Let's get any divine intervention out of the equation so that won't be some sort of rebuttal. nature itself will judge you, and it will give you results that you deserve. Nature will look at how you live. And if you lived this chicken wing and Hennessy or tequila every night lifestyle, if you live this, oh, I just have to get some box lifestyle, and you were thirsty, that is what nature is going to give you. It's going to give you that sad, thirsty, undisciplined result. That's the result you will get. And it'll come sooner or later. You better believe it. But on the other hand, if you lived a balanced life, yes, if you did deal with young ladies, you did go to concerts, you did go to bars, you kept it slightly but at the same time, you focused on yourself and your mental health 80% of the time, and left a little bit of room for play, just a little bit, to where you didn't go completely crazy, because all work, no play makes Johnny a dull boy, right? Nature will reward you for that, and nature will give you the results for that. So ultimately, the choice is yours, man. You can either get lost in the sea of instant gratification and mindless vices, or you can balance it out and focus more on your well-being. The choice is really yours. Thank you. Stay solid.